Why is that moment that we start to feel that we fail Nigeria? At our age, just 40-something, we fail Nigeria. What about our elders and our elites and our 70, 80 years people that get everything for free? I know they are watching us. What are they feeling? What is going in their mind? This video of Tabawa Balewa, did one tend to tell me they did not know about it? All the structures here are failing. Nobody tell you to do airport because we want Nigeria to have airport. Nobody tell you to do road before Nigeria wants to have road. We want to build road because we want to build people that will build Africa for us. That's the reason why we want them to do development for us. Our development is beyond us. Our development is for the humanity. And what are we going to arrive at after everything here? What's the one thing we're going to take away from this, my discussion, is that the value of life in Nigeria is really not valued. There is a huge difference between them and us, into such a way that we eroded and completely withdrawn the middle class out of the system. It's either the rich or the poor. We need the rich in Nigeria. We need the middle class more in Nigeria. We have to see how the money is going to be in the center, not by those people or not by these people. We are calling on young men all over Nigeria, all over the world, to reflect and think that it's only when we come together that we can achieve this. Let me tell you what I understand and what I got in these 2 years that we have done what we have did. It's simple. I understand that Nigeria have the most talented and most resourceful people all over. We just start and we just call and say, let's come together. And you can see the stage that we have. This kind of stage, we only do it for the elite and the people that can afford it. And we are here, we do it for ourselves. From all walks of life, you will see Nigerians excelling. And one of my friends always tell me, the only place that is not working for a Nigerian is Nigeria. It has to change. You see somebody with his first class, very difficult to finish university. But once he travel out, he'll be the best student because the environment permits that. This land must work for us. It's ours to protect. It's ours to make sure that at least we make it work for ourselves. And the theme or the slogan we have is, let's do it ourselves. Nobody will come to fix Nigeria for us. And we will not allow anybody to use us to fight ourselves or to fight for him to get election, because it's only during election that they will throw the card of ethnicity and throw the card of religious differences, just to confuse us, just to make us feel that we are not ready. And they get young people like us to harass people with cutlasses and things like that. But let me give them a straight answer to their problem, because we want good people to participate in election. If we together by 2023, we are going to do 3 things, and we are going to make sure that we achieve those 3 things. We are going to eliminate the politics of godfatherism, so that each and every one of us will have an opportunity to be what he be. I know they are listening to us. We are not going to do it violently. We are going to do it professionally, because we have professionals among us. Another thing that I'm going to tell them about is that it's our internet. This is a God-given something in this century for us that used to use. And we are going to use maximum use of it in this 2023. If you want to do anything for us, you are going to come and meet us on the internet, and you have to tell us what you want to do. On Facebook alone, we have what is called comment section. We'll comment on what you said you want to do, and we'll tell you how to do it better. Time is now. We have waited. Me and all the team of We Together, we have waited. We ask ourselves, who are the young men that are going to come forward? And today is February 4th, and we have not seen any young group, any commitment when we have NSAS by our side. People die. The young men came out. They stood inside the rain, inside sunshine. A lot of people lost their properties because they want a new Nigeria and they want a new change. Everybody is asking, from that day to today, what are we doing? How are we organizing ourselves? How are we going to even present that mandate that we have? To who are we going to present that mandate to have? How are we going to have that social contract with the next president that is going to lead us? So, the next person that is going to talk after me, very beautiful, talented Dr. Anas, will give you a simple strategy that we want. We make it as simple as possible because of what? Because we have the internet. So godfatherism, we're going to say bye-bye to it. Money politics, we are going to say bye-bye to it. Toggery, because the talks are our brothers. We get the talks for them. But we will not allow anybody to use them again. Nobody will give them drugs. Nobody will give them. They are brothers, and we have to rehabilitate them. They are going to be like us, and they have to have feature like us. The value of life is really, really low. And if I tell you we are going to kill these three things out of the system, it's because we want to bring good people to replace the bad system that we have. As my good friend always say, Mr. Shina Pella, is that if you want to change a system, forget, they are always telling us, join the party. You will not go change anything in the party. That's just the truth. Create something that is more stronger, more viable, and more important than that one. It will make the old order obsolete. That's what we will do with We Together. Anybody that is going to contest, we are going to put him online for people to see him. And also we ask him questions, because we don't want people with questionable characters, people with questionable source of funding or questionable source of money just because you have money. How can you lead people just because you have money? Where is the integrity? What are the values? What are the other things that we want? What are the other things? How can we drop everything? If this money, then the value of Nigerian life is nothing. It's just zero. That's why I always tell people, if you will have 20, a car that's supposed to take 5 people, and you have 20 or 7 people or 10 people inside, that means the driver, the passengers themselves, they don't value their life. But that's not what makes me very angry. It's the person that is in charge of authority, the official that will see them in the car and collect 100 naira and allow them to go. Because he value them the way they value themselves, and they value them for 100 naira. So we have to value ourselves. I see beautiful faces here. I know a lot of beautiful Nigerians watching us in the television. I know we are not getting what we deserve. We need a Nigeria that will not only work for us, we need a Nigeria that will work for Africa. And all Nigerian lives matters. Thank you very much.
We want to thank the chairman, BOT, and we are already moved. We are moved by this, I won't call it speech, I would rather call it the push to move Nigeria forward. And if the short video that was presented to us, which showed our former Nigerian leader, late Abubakar Tafawa Balewa, says, we have no aggressive intentions. And that is what We Together is all about. We do not have aggressive intentions. We have strategic, technical technological, innovative intentions. Please, let's put our hands together for our BOT, Alhaji Abdul Karim, or Alhaji Ibrahim Hussein Abdul Karim. Ladies and gentlemen, a lot to say, but we have to allow others to do that because that is the essence of having a program of this magnitude. And may I request our pleasure to, if our technical crew is set for the short video, please. Is the video ready? Can I see your hand up if the video is ready? All right, fine. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, shortly before the video, we have already on arrival and has already taken his seat, Honorable Member, Federal House of Representatives, all the way from Oyo State, Honorable Shinapela. Please, let's put our hands together for him. So you're welcome. Like I've told you, we together, let's do it ourselves. It's all over Nigeria. And the journey has begun now. Though the BOT chairman said the journey began long time ago. So we wish all of us success. This is Nigeria talking now. Thank you very much. Please, the video.
Together Nigeria
Please, lights off, lights, please.
A crime reporting and management system, a technological platform that will have a swift and effective response to the distress call of Nigerians. From insecurity to online crime, we face numerous issues plaguing the country, and we have to come together to find a solution.
Fighting insecurity like kidnapping, banditry, and terrorism, I think is something that has to do with full-plate intelligence. So this system that we want to put in place is not something that we wanted to anchor it to a division or to a command. It's supposed to be a system seen even from National Security Advisor's Office or even from a situation room at the presidency. Security is a must for every Nigerian.
We have started the journey. We have built a platform, and we would love to hear your ideas and contributions to develop it further, to contribute to what we have done to solve this terrible problem plaguing the nation. Visit our social media handle at official We Together or call our helpline 070-6432-6402. We Together Nigeria. Let's do it ourselves. Fellow Nigerians, you have been told a lie. A lie that your vote does not count. A lie that your action in an election does not matter. So you take no action. You take no action to vote. You take no action to change your life. You take no action to find the right leader. And you sell your votes for peanuts. You sell your future. You never bother to get a voter's card. You make no attempt to save the future generation. This lie was propagated by people who do not want you to understand your real power, the power of the people, the power of unity. They don't want you to understand that you can actually make a change, that you have the power, that your vote counts. And by voting, you decide the future of this country. You decide the future of the next generation. We must put an end to this lie today. Join the continuous voter registration and take your power back. Register online or in person. Educate your friends and family on the power to vote and electing the right leader. This message is brought to you by We Together Nigeria. Let's do it.
Highly educative video, please. May we put our hands together for the producers of this very short, educative, and highly enlightening video. And for the benefit of our viewers all across Nigeria, we request that those that are moving should please mind how they move from one table to the other, from one chair to the other, because the camera views. Please, let's take note of that. And other television organizations that are here. Thank you very much. And we move to the strategy. Like the BOT chairman, Alhaji Abdul Karim, has said that, Ibrahim Hussein Abdul Karim, has said that the We Together movement has a strategy. It has a technique. It has its agenda. And the technicalities of the innovative genius is what one of our We Together respected members is going to tell us today. May I please invite to the microphone, I don't want to say Mr. I prefer to say comrades. Comrade Anas Yazid. Please, a round of applause to Comrade Anas Yazid. And please, it will be good if we encourage those that are coming up on the stage here. A very loud, rosy welcome and a round of applause. Thank you very much.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you so much for that introduction. My name is Anas Balarabe Ezid. I'm a lecturer at Bayero University, Kano, a PhD candidate at Imperial College London. I'm also the risk officer at We Together. So my job is to handle strategy, planning, and research for We Together movement. The BOT chairman has given a very good introduction, has given us a very good overview of why we're in this movement, We Together, and what we could accomplish. But a lot of people would ask us a question, but how, we now understand the why we're doing it, but how are we going to do it? What's different from other movements like NSAS, like all other movements that have happened in the past, and what makes We Together different and what makes it special? And is it just talk, or do we actually have a strategy? Do we have, a roadmap for how we intend to reach our destination? So I will be giving gestures to the person controlling the presentation to move to the next slide. Can you move to the next slide? Okay, thank you. Okay, so within this slide, what you could see is what summarizes what the BOT chairman, Alhaji Ibrahim, has said. So We Together is right at the juncture where religion, tribe, age, gender, and party all align. We want to start building a new system of leadership where we start using our diversity to our advantage. And that's what We Together is actually coming from. Now, the next question is, and I think the BOT chairman has addressed that in the next slide, is what makes us different? A lot of movements that have happened in the past are always around the periphery. So people like the NSAS, they wanted to end police brutality. Most of these problems, people come out and complain about these problems. But the issue is, as long as you don't get to the core or root cause of the problem, then you are not really doing anything. And we apply the 5 whys technique of root cause identification to come to why we're in this problem and what we are trying to address. So at the periphery, at the outer core, you see that we have all these problems in Nigeria. Everybody knows that. But then when you go deeper, then you know that it has to do with the leadership that we have, which includes no ideas, old age, incompetence. But when you go down, then you see that that's coming from greed, accumulation of wealth, consumerism, power hungry, where people just want to accumulate as much wealth as possible, and at the expense of people not getting good quality for their lives. So we now identify that when our leaders do, value their lives or the lives of their friends or their family more than the lives of me and you and everybody else in Nigeria, then this is the problem. And this is what We Together is actually trying to address. So at the core of the We Together, what we're trying to address is really saying that every Nigerian, whether you are the son of the governor or the president or the minister, You deserve safe drinking water. You deserve good quality healthcare. You deserve safety and security above everything else. So that is at the core of the We Together movement. And the next slide, please. So I'm not going to talk deep on this. The vision is there. The statement of purpose is also there. So when we say statement of purpose, if We Together doesn't exist today, what is going to happen? So what we say is, if We Together doesn't exist, then the value of Nigerian life will continue to not matter in the system of leadership. We have strategic objectives that we want to achieve. The first thing that we are working now on is building a formidable structure. So we're building a structure at national level, zonal level, state level, local government level, up to ward levels. So we're identifying people that are interested in membership, and the system that we follow is the 9x5 system. So first we identify 9 people that we think also they have the same DNA, the We Together DNA, all our founding fathers' DNA. We identify 9 of them, and we invite them each one of them to invite 5 people like him. And then we ask those 5 people to also invite 5 more people like that. And that way we have this referral system where we have very good quality leadership, and we're not just having anybody to join the structure. So the next thing we do is, once we have a membership structure of competent people, we identify young, competent people to aspire for all positions of leadership. And the methodology we'll apply here is, if there's an existing person competing for a position, that's absolutely fine. We'll talk about criteria. We go through to his word and see, is this a good candidate? And we evaluate him based on the selection criteria. So if this candidate meets the selection criteria of We Together, it doesn't matter which party he comes from or she comes from, We Together is going to mobilize and support this candidate for the 2023 elections. So one scenario is, this person might come from APC, that's absolutely fine. Maybe all other people failed, so we support this candidate on APC. We talk to APC and we insist that APC would have to give this person a ticket to run for this office. If it happens they are from PDP, then that's fine. If it happens you have 2 good candidates from APC, PDP, and ABGA, then we literally say, okay, all the candidates are endorsed by We Together, and the public could then decide whichever candidate they want, but we endorse all these candidates. But in the event where we could not get a single candidate from all the parties, then we are going to go to the community, we are going to go to the leadership, to our structure, membership structure, and we try to identify people that are competent. Even if they don't want to run, we're going to really try to influence them to run. We're going to insist they run. So when they insist they run, we try to negotiate for them to run in either of these established parties. If that's not possible, then we already have a backup party that they're going to run on, and we're going to mobilize all our resources and make sure they get elected. So we have a way of building our manifesto. The next thing we are doing is building a manifesto. So the manifesto, We Together, we don't want just 6 people to stay in a hotel and design a manifesto for the movement. Our manifestos will come from the word up. So at ward levels, the ESCOs at ward levels would consult with stakeholders and identify key problems that ward is facing. And the same thing would go to the local government. That stakeholder engagement will happen again, and then the state. By the time it reaches a national level, a team will collect all this information and come up with a national manifesto, and also come up with a national integrated master plan. So the national manifesto, we use it for election. The integrated master plan, we use it after the election, and that's what these candidates will now start implementing. So the next thing is, we are going to, like I said, campaign for these candidates aggressively using technology, using funds we are going to raise by ourselves. We're going to monitor elections, and we're going to do whatever it takes to make sure these people get elected. But once they get elected, that's not the end of the work. The We Together movement has been planned to run for the next 50 years. So I'm pretty sure it's going to probably survive most of us living in this. That's our prayer, is going to survive most of us living in staying in this hall. So we are going to, all the systems that we built up to the world level are going to be converted into monitoring and evaluation structures. So we will continue monitoring these candidates and making sure whether they have achieved what we sent them to do. If they don't, Then we're going to come back, we're going to mobilize resources, and we make sure we don't even wait for the next election cycle to come. We make sure we call them back, and we make sure we replace them with good candidates. I think you've gone too far. Can you go back? Go back. Can you go back up, please? Because that slide is very important. Okay, can you go back? No? Okay, great. So this is the timeline of activities. We have them in four different phases. The phase one is the membership. I invite everybody here to go to the wetogether.tk to register as a member. We put your local government, your ward, and we have you on our record, and we're going to reach out to you eventually. And if you have not done so already, the next stage will be candidate selection. We try to do this before April. So by that time, we're going to start negotiating with the parties ahead of the primaries, which will mostly conclude in June, because the INEC requires everybody to submit their names by June. So we're going to create our manifesto, our awareness, up till the time when primaries happen. After primaries, those candidates that have managed to secure tickets on their parties would we continue to support them with their campaigns. Those that haven't, we move them to parties that are more favorable to us, even if they are not the main parties. And we're going to continue aggressively campaigning for them up till election. And after that, we move into phase 4, which will be monitoring and evaluation. Next slide, please. So here is also summarizing the stages, but more or less giving items that I will just talk about. That's the funding. So we have the BOT, which is now comprising of 9 members. That was the criteria we used for choosing our BOTs. We are looking for people that will at least raise 1 million naira by themselves. So these are people that we think if they talk to 10 people to contribute 100,000 naira each, then we are going to raise that money. We've already raised more than this now. So excos, people that could influence people to contribute 50,000 naira each, 10 people to contribute 50,000 naira each, will raise about 4.5 million naira. Stage 1 is zonal members, which we've already finalized. These are people that we think would help, not apart from other criteria of having competence and people that we could trust, but people that could help raise 100,000 naira. So 10 people, 10,000 naira each, that's about 27 million naira. We intend to go to stage 2. I'm just focusing on the numbers now. We are going to set up this 9x5x5 in the states, where we're going to hopefully raise 17 million naira. And when we reach the local government, we are going to have a structure where each person will be able to talk to 10 people, and each one of them will be able to contribute 500 naira. And by that time, we'll raise about 100 million naira. By the time we fully establish ourselves at the ward level, we are looking for people that would help talk to 10 people that will contribute 100 naira each. And once we're able to meet this target, we'll be able to raise 2 billion naira. So as you can see, we are financing this movement ourselves. We are not accepting money from a politician. We are not accepting money from a foreign organization. We joined this movement because we want to do it ourselves, and we are funding it ourselves. Everything is going to be transparent. In the app, we're working on a We2G app, which will be launched. Through the We2G app, you could see all donations coming in, and you could see all expenses going out. That makes sure we have a transparent system. Go to the next slide, please. So when I talked about the 9x9 system, this is the 9x9 structure we're going to establish in each of the levels. So at the national level, you're going to have these 9 people, except the BOT, and that's the job they're going to do: mobilization, advocacy, information, legal, accounting. So you're going to have this set of people at the national level, which I'm part of, and then you're going to have similar at each of the 6 zonal geopolitical zones. You're going to have in the 36 states plus the FCT. You're going to have at each local government. You're going to have at each ward. So that's the structure. So these people will now talk to 5 people, and then they will talk to 5 people, and that will get us the numbers that I just talked about. Next slide, please. So at each of this level, each of these people, each of these committees will be tasked with stakeholder identification and stakeholder engagement. So at the center, you can see the core. This is where these executive committees will be, which will run the day-to-day activities of it together at all levels. We have stakeholders that we would always involve. So NGOs, media, registered members, entertainment industries, students, we are welcoming you to join us. You don't have to run our activities day to day, but you're going to be fully involved in creating mobilization and advocacy. And then there are stakeholders that we are going to identify that will be informed at all times, which will be INET, security, elders, academia, traditional institutions, religious institutions. So to give you an example, even at a ward level, the ESCO will identify key religious leaders and they will go and talk to them. They will identify key traditional leaders and they will go and talk to them. They will identify the security outfits there and they will go and tell them that we are from We Together, here's a list, so that nobody goes and does something and misrepresents us. And that way, we make sure the movement goes to all the stakeholders, and this engagement will continue happening. Next slide. Okay, so this slide is the DNA of We Together. It really clearly explains, people that we like to have on the We Together movement. So these are our guiding principles. We don't believe in tribalism, bigotry. We have respect and courtesy for each other. We give everyone, irrespective of religion or genders, equal opportunities. We respect other people's opinions and we value constructive criticism. We are honest. We have absolutely no agenda except to serve our dear nation. We are persistent. We have a lot of grit and we conduct ourselves professionally. We Together member does not take donation from any politician, party, or political group. We value transparency. Members take their tasks very seriously, and we do not allow internal politicking or campaign. So if you are interested in running for office, that's perfectly fine, but you don't campaign for yourself within the We Together structure. Your work will speak for itself. The next slide, please. So most of what we're doing a movement, not just talking. It's not just a talk movement. It's a data-driven movement. At every point in time, we are collecting data. We are making sure we are as diverse as we want to be. We are making sure we are looking at our mistakes. We are correcting mistakes. We are getting feedback. And that's why, just to give you an example, the next slide, this is just something I pulled from the dashboard of how we are monitoring, like, say, our members from, I think this is from Southeast. No, this is from Northeast. So right now, we are advising that we need more people from Taraba. We already have a lot of people from Borno. We look at religion, of course, we look at the overall spread within that region. Next slide. We look at gender. Right now, we're encouraging them to get more ladies on board. The group, we have 18 to 24 on the low side. We try to get them to encourage more people to join. The party, APC, PDP, we are trying to get more PDP people in this zone. People that have PVC, this is looking good. We want to make sure whoever joins us has PVC and is a valued member. Next slide. So we have a calendar of activities. Next slide, please. From now till May, where we hope the primaries would, where the congresses of all the parties will be concluded, and we would have our candidates and we're ready to start politicking and campaigning for them, for their parties to pitch them. If they don't agree, then we move to other parties and we mobilize all our resources to get them into office. So in a nutshell, last slide, this is just a summary to tell you that it's not just about talk. There's a lot of team that I'm working with, very intelligent, professional people, both within Nigeria and outside, that are contributing to the strategy. If you have anything at all that you think is going to add value, please, you can reach me out through any of the social media network. Thank you very much for your time, and I wish us all the best. And for those that come from far, I wish you safe travel back. Thank you.
Please, let's give him another round of applause. And what we'll take away from this speech, or more of a presentation, is that We Together movement is 100% self-funded. That we don't beg to collect money to run our programs. And two, no internal politicking, among other strategic issues. But the most important thing is he has mentioned strategically how this organization is going to start to work. And this is, a lot of people will be asking, or might be asking this question. This is really tasking. That's here, how someone will say, Anya. Common Nigerian will say, it will work. But if you look at the constitution of the membership of this We Together movement, definitely you know that there are more than what you expect that will move this organization forward, and they have the capacity. Ladies and gentlemen, it is at this juncture I'd like to say that there's this saying that says, or that goes, you cannot carve a masterpiece out of a rotten wood. If it is true that the membership constitutes experts from all fields of women endeavor, then there is a big job ahead, and they can do it. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to use this opportunity to invite to present a very brief keynote speech, more of a keynote address, and another stimulating speech that we're going to expect from our dear brother, and none other person than a very strong member of the Board of Trustees of We Together Nigeria. He traveled all the way from Imo State to Kano in order to be part of this launch. And we're happy he has arrived safely in our hands, or in the hands of our God Almighty. And in his hands, he and others will return back safely. It is my pleasure to say that the keynote address will be presented by a technical professional, or technological professional with great experience working in various public sectors, and also being part, heart and body and soul of this We Together movement. May I present to you Mr. Munachiso Obioha, all the way from Imo State, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening, everyone. Assalamu alaikum, sir. I would like everyone that is seated, please turn to your neighbor and tell your neighbor, Munatare, and tell him, Dole Muidi, come. So please turn to your neighbor and give your neighbor a handshake, please. All right? All right. Good evening, everyone. Sorry I lost my voice. I stand on what I would consider a protocol. Good evening to all Honorable House of Members, legislators, honorable commissioners, other parliamentarians, private sector executives that we have in the House. And it's on this note that I stand to let you know that I was coming here, just point of correction, I live in Abuja, but I'm from Imo. I came here and I did not want to read a speech to you. And we are people of intellect and we are people of excellence. So I would want a situation whereby as we move forward to the panel discussions and as we move through the speech, I would want for us to reduce, to try our best to tone down the side discussions, and we will try our best to tone down our ringtones, because we are people of excellence and we want to do things differently from what we have been seeing in the existing Nigeria. So we are going to start off by being that example, all right? So I just wanted to make that known, so that way we don't disrupt the panelists when they're speaking, and we wouldn't be stopping our brothers and our sisters from hearing any of this. It's my pleasure that we are going to walk out from here, because we do have a great audience, those that are listening online and those that are present in this place and those that are watching on TV. So we are going to do our best to be very articulate on what we stand for and what you need to walk away from here understanding. This is Kanu. Kanu, hear me, okay? If I had my way, I'll do this in Hausa so you can understand it very well, all right? Every national problem was once a regional problem. Every regional problem was once a community problem. Every community problem was once a family problem. Every family problem was once an individual problem, man or woman. And this goes to show that we are where we are today, not because we choose to be here, but because we have made some choices. Now, you have control over choices, but you don't have control, and we don't have control over consequences. Consequences are things that come as a result of disregard. And for the longest time, this entity called Nigeria has been long disregarded. And I say this to all the mothers in the room. Every man and woman, you and me inclusive, were once a baby in the hands of a mother. And it is the value system that we instill, and that is what we grew up with. And that is what determines the level, the trajectory that we take when we begin to interact with people, when we go into the society. So this goes to buttress my point that every community problem was once a family problem and was once an individual problem, but it left untreated. So the what we consider the decay and the moral decadence of Nigeria is a failure of a family system. But we are here to address solutions. Now, why did I stress this point? I stress this point so you can understand why the statement "Dole mui de kamu," we must do it ourselves. No one, and I call no names, and I say this humbly and respectfully speaking, I call no names, but there is no particular individual that when you elect today as the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, that will solve all problems. The problem solving must still go through the hierarchy of what my brother Anas had presented to us earlier, that we must be able to do. So we have to organize from the national level, down to the regional level, down to the states, down to local governments, wards, and polling units. Now, I come here today with one message. And that message for me is, sincerely speaking, love. Love, unity, respect for one another, and hope. Now, why love? The core of our existence, who we are today, and the core of our being here is as a result of love. Now, we can't say that we merit being alive, but we are blessed to be alive as a result of a love for someone who created us. Respect for one another means that I am here, I am from the eastern part of the Niger, and I love this country called Nigeria from the bottom of my heart. Just a little background about myself. I could have stayed in the United States with a wonderful paying job. But here I am, and I have campaigned across this country with different people who have run for public office to the deepest and the most rural and highly underdeveloped part of this country. And it saddened my heart what I have seen. Northwest, hear me. Please make no mistake. The challenges that you face in Kano, it's no different from the challenges that those in the constituencies of Honorable Shinapella faces in the Southwest. Make no mistake, when you hear your brothers from the east of the Niger screaming that they want a country, that is not the solution. It's as a result of a failed system. When you hear those in the North Central agitating that they want a new country, that they want to lead, it's because as a result of a failed system. Same with the Northeast, being ravaged by banditry. And same in the South, whereby illegal bunkering and thuggery and kidnapping has become order of the day. And to show you the interest and the cycle of life, there was once a time in Nigeria where some of us, our brothers and sisters in the Northwest and the Northeast, never thought that kidnapping would come to Northwest and Northeast. Am I correct? What is happening now? Worse than kidnapping. And if not treated, the worst thing that can happen to us as individuals, irrespective of gender, irrespective of tribe, and our class, is some of us here happen to be privileged and travel around the world. If Nigeria does ever have a challenge, when you get to the airport and you want to exit the Federal Republic, and the Federal Republic of Nigeria has fallen into a failed state, no country would accept you. China would not accept you. United States may not accept you. The United Kingdom will not accept you. And all this I keep buttressing. There is no politician that is going to fix this country for you. You in your community, mothers, hear me. You with your child. Men, please, when you're getting married, hear me. You as a father will be the one to look at the we together values, whereby, I know we didn't put that up, whereby you are going to have to say, do I want to raise a family in love? Do I want to raise a child with honesty? Do I want to raise a child who knows how to respect their neighbor, even if the way he or she prays or worships is different from your pattern? Do I want a society where I can, irrespective of class, but by the virtue of education, be able to give myself a quality life, have a roof over my head, and provide for your family? And I believe that's all we want, right? What does that bring us back to? Dole words. We must do it ourselves. I could have come here today and I would have read a wonderful speech for you with no emotion, with no understanding, and with no level, with no vision casted. But I said no. This might be the first time many of you have seen me or have heard of me, but if you attended the We Together second virtual town hall meeting, you must have heard me speak. And if you go back to what I had said in 2020, it's still no different from my conversation today. As we embark on this journey, we have my brothers that have gone before me, Alhaji Abdulkarim, Mr. Anas, a great brother, Dawisu, Tanko here, and all the coordinators of this program have done a very wonderful job articulating why we together. Now, the question becomes, how do we achieve this? And I want to believe that Mr. Anas did a very wonderful job in showing how we can achieve this. But make no mistake, it is not going to be a walk in the park. And that is why I bring to you this understanding of love, a good understanding of unity, and a good understanding of hope. And I stand on the protocol of our founding fathers. I stand on the principles of Mr. Tafawa Balewa. I stand on the vision of Nnamdi Azikiwe. Now, I stand on the heart and the skill set of Obafemi Awolowo. And I'm saying this to everyone in Kano, that we must do our absolute best to begin to disabuse our minds from the decades and years of misinformation, whereby some of us from different parts of the country are built to understand or to believe that those of our brothers on other side of the country do not like us. That is an absolute lie from the pit of who knows where. Everyone in this country, from the east to the south to the west to the north, wants nothing but a working country where access to education is not a luxury, whereby access to light, it's not a luxury. Now, ability to feed should not be a luxury. It is an essential form of living. But we have found ourselves in a place over the years, now with no blame or castigation to any particular administration in order, but a culmination of failed practices that we have to be able to do away with the mindset of distrust. I charge everyone in this room from a place of love in my heart, any day, anytime, and within any and everything that we can do to ensure that we love our neighbors as ourselves. It sounds very simple. If we are not able to do this, we are giving room to money politics. If we are not able to do this, we are giving room to another big name coming upon the scene and letting us know what they can do, and we all rally. That is fine. But when that message comes to you, take it and say, yes, I've heard you, but no, I do not agree with you. Do you agree with me? Yes. Thank you. Now, we know all the current challenges that we face. We have lost a lot of talents. The best automobile designer at General Motors, Cadillac, is one of our brothers from Kano, to be specific, Abdulaziz. The Deputy Secretary of Treasury of the United States is our brother from the Southwest, Wale. Now, our most recent in front of us, the former head of NCDC, right? Disease development, disease control. It's from the east of the Niger. But what has happened here is that because being that there is no vision, and being that the leadership over the years have ruptured, and being that there is rancor within our communities, being that there is misunderstanding within states, being that we are not creating any form of economic value, what happens is that our best and the brightest continues to leave us to seek a greener pasture. And I bet you that if you got the same opportunity that they have, the same offer, you may consider leaving. Yes or no? All right. But you're not going to leave. So we have to charge ourselves. We must search our heart. It's not going to be easy. And I task my fellow members in the leadership of We Together that times will come where egos are going to step in. There are times will come when pride will step in. Time will come where accomplishments will set in. But you must be able to go back and look at the value system of the values that We Together has written out, where humility is the core base of who we are. And we have to tell ourselves that we truly love one another and that we cannot wrestle power, that we cannot be able to do anything that we want to achieve without any level of unity. Because those that we consider the political elites spend an awful amount of time engaging one another, meeting endlessly. As I speak to you, they're in their 70s and their 80s, and they are traveling the 36 states of the country, continually doing what is called consultations, right? Right. They keep consulting to be able to hold leadership. So please, I task you, Northwest must be able to consult with Northeast. Northeast must be able to consult with North Central. North Central must be able to consult with Southwest. Southwest, you must do your absolute best together with all the Norths to consult with the North, with the South-South. South-South has to do their absolute best amongst those that have come before them to consult with the Southeast. And in all of this, one thing is very, very important. We at We Together want to be able to understanding family values, create and bring forth competent leaders who can lead their local governments, who can lead their constituencies, who can lead their states, and overall, who can lead this nation to become a 21st century economy. I will try my best to round up. And if you notice, I have not gone into challenges of insecurity. I've not gone into challenges of economic setbacks. I've not gone into the challenges of economic recession. I've not gone into all the challenges we face. We understand what the problems are, but it is in following what we have put forward. And I am calling upon all those that are in the private sector. For those of our viewers watching online, our brothers in diaspora, and those of us that are in other parts of the country, I am using this opportunity. If you are a professional, if you are a technology professional, if you are a medical professional, if you are a communication professional, whatever your background is, you do have a place and you have a role to play in building your nation. Yes, we understand elections are not cheap. But elections are not cheap when we ignore family and we ignore community and we ignore region. That at that point, that is when elections become very expensive. And please, we say this not in ignorance of how much work goes into winning political offices. It is not fine. Spiritually, it is a battle. Physically, it's a battle. Economically, it is a battle. And personally, within those running for office, it is a battle. So please, as you go home, mothers, hear me, please. Mothers, special call to our mothers. Mothers, hear me, please. Your husbands matter. Your male children matter. I love the girl child, but the male child equally matters. Because it is the values, it is the love, it's the respect, It is the diligence. Those things, these are the things that we carry along all through the days of our lives to be able to take into public office. And it is the willingness, and we must be willing to continue to learn, because whatever we do not learn, we can never implement to make Nigeria or make our state to become a 21st century economy. So I round up by reminding you that we do have a lot of work to do, and that this is not a short-term vision. Here is a 10 to 15-year roadmap. We have 2023 coming up. We have 2027 coming up. We have 2031. So please, I urge you, be diligent, engage in your community, go to www.wetogetherng.com, sign up and determine how to get involved. And in all of it, please do not forget your values. And please forget and put aside the nuances and the poor conditionings of mindsets which you have been fed to let you know that your neighbor does not love you, that someone from the other tribe or religion does not love you. That is a lie. And we have to take that and we have to bring that forth here to elect the right leaders to lead the nation. Thank you.
I am moved, and I felt like picking what how someone would say, please, our elders used to say that the future belongs to those who prepare today. And what he has said is that we begin now, and the journey is long, hectic, but let's start and let's do it together. Kuma yace muna tare, muyi tare, mu cimma nasara tare. Put your hands together for him once again. I want to recognize the president of some of the representatives of the Students' Union Government here from the Northwest all over. We don't have much time to recognize all of you, but President of Saadat Rimi College, Wudil, we have students from Kano Municipal, Yusuf Maitama Sule University, Bayero University, and among others. Please, we recognize you, we welcome you, we appreciate you, and like we said, be a member now. Please, you're welcome. Thank you very much. And all work and no play, they say, makes Jack a dull boy. I want to use this 5 minutes. Lend me your 5 minutes to introduce a talented and highly multi-national, if I may call it, entertainer known as Fresh Amir, and is known as Aku Mebakim Magana. In English, parrots. When Sabi talk, make noise. Well, yes, please. Is he here? Yes. Fresh is here? Okay. I was looking out for small, Fresh. Actually, he's big. Put your hands together for Amir Aku Magana, please.
Hello, everyone. DJ.
Before the parrot starts talking, let me say here that the We Together advocacy group is indeed a group of Nigerians between the ages of 18 150 home and abroad from diverse ethnic, religious, academic, professional backgrounds with the competence and experience required to drive the much needed change of the Nigerian state. And it has the vision of building a united Nigeria where every citizen is assured of good quality life irrespective of tribe, religion or political inclination. It also wishes to establish a new united system of leadership comprising young, competent and patriotic leaders for selfless and more effective governance.
Kai ne fresh miya a kusan kin zance an ce komai wuyar kullin gaskiya kakan kwance to na zo yi bayani babu kauce in na tambaye ka yanzu in ji shin me za ka ce wani kallo gwamnati ke wayan arewa wawaye banzaye hatauka sakar karu dabbobin kwantarwa a yanka wayanda ba su saka su ba hakika lan da suke mana kenan amma yanzu mun farka yanzu ta fito fili ba san wake ba ta tabbata mun gane ba ta mu suke ba tunda ba amfani suke mana ba to su sani lokaci yadda ba za mu raga ba kuna gani sai kashin wake amma kun ji ko maganar suna yi sun mai da mu kamar shanu da makiyayi da sanu su ne wallahi ake mai mu marayi boko haram arewa ake kidnapping arewa ake kawai kamar bude wuta ake in za mu fita fitaran dawowa gida muke na lura raina mana hankali ake yi ta yaya za a samu bindiga gurin makiyayi kuma ba ma bindiga ta da ba ta yaya domin gaji da wannan rainin wayo za a kashe mu a fito fili babu ba tsoronta muke ba muna ma wayoyo ba mu fara furta gaskiya ba sai da muka shi ni Adam Abdullahi ya miya dan arewa na rantsi da Allah babu wanda zan kara ragawa madaban yi koyi sabin arewa amma har yanzu a tseren mu ba kun kasa tsarewa asibitocin mu ba magani ba titi mata masu nakuda sun bani babu wutar lantarki da more zamani yunwa ta addabi al'umma kuna gani mu a gurin mu sunayen ku marasa amfani fada dauna fada dama kara muke yanzu babu maganan karan batun kishi muke yi ina kira ga mawakan arewa da ya fim din arewa marubutan arewa masu barkwanci da suke cikin arewa ba ma lissafi ba duk mai daukakan cikin arewa da wanda suke da hanyar tura sako a arewa mu fito kanmu da kwarkwata nuna kishin arewa don na ga mun fara zama maroka wanda yi ya samu tsinci gaskiya mun kasa dauka mu kawar da ido kan me za a baka don kusi sun suka daina cikin an daina yayinka saboda haka mai bacci ya farka fito na fito ka fito mu ce ciyan wanka
bakin magana a yau mana zo zan yi magana a yau magana a yau da magana a yau da magana a yau
ba abin da zai sa hakura don na zo ne in faɗi lolin bara ina ma ce iyaye su hakura ina ma za su fahimta su ankara cewa babu alkhairi a kai yaran bara a kada ku fushi tukuna dan jira kun san me ke faruwa makarantun bara ai za ku ce ba ku sani ba uba ya tura dansa yaro kankani ba babu ci ba sha ba kai masa sutura ba gashi danga gani ba iya wanki yake ba anya Allah zai kyale ka baba da kansa zai nemi abinci sai ya nema wa gardi ya ci kana zai ci idan bai kawo ba ai mai dukan butulci ga yunwa ga duka gashi babu kyakkyawan makwanci ina amfanin ka jefa yaron ka kunci ina amfanin haihuwa babu karamci ina amfanin uba ba soyayya ba ya kunci wallahi da wannan uba garan tashi maraici da kanka ka kai danka halaka akan abinci wani kato zai kai shi daka daga nan kaga fasaji zai ta baka wani sa'in gardawan suke lalata su su ce suka fada sai su kuta su dole suna ji su yi shiru da bakin su wasu sukan fada shaye-shaye wasu sata wasu su kudu yaye-yaye haba dalla yayi yana da kyau ku daina sa yara hawaye
a kuma bakin magana a yau mana zo na yi magana a yau magana a yau ne magana
Hello, please.
Okay, from the speeches, we can also say that the We Together advocacy group wants to make the Nigerian youth self-reliant and be more engaged in the scheme of things, but first by knowing themselves, by looking inwards and correct the wrongs they are doing, especially from the first speakers who cautioned the youth against being used by politicians who engage them in thuggery and other unwholesome behaviors, and also to ensure that they get themselves educated and also be self-reliant by engaging in any meaningful or gainful income generation activities. So the program will continue now. They had an audio problem, but it has now been corrected.
Share with us. Let us see us. Let us see what we're doing. Let us see what also you're doing in giving back what we're doing this morning or this evening. And please, NTA, like I've said, and other TV stations are also monitoring live, and other radio stations we mentioned earlier. So please, don't forget to post. Don't forget to send your remarks and comments. We'll go straight to the panelists, and we're starting with the first to be introduced to take his seat, who is also going to be the moderator of this panel of discussion. It is my privilege to say that he's a very strong key member also of this We Together movement. He is a media marketing expert, an astute, level-headed gentleman, and also silent but very fearless. He is a media practitioner of high repute and a former special advisor, senior special assistant to the governor of media, Kano State, and the immediate past director general of media and publicity to His Excellency, the governor of Kano State. He is a hard-working, We Together movement driver. Honorable Salihu Tankoya Kase is going to be our moderator this evening, ladies and gentlemen. You're welcome. Oh, there's no need to welcome my honorable because has been part and parcel of this great movement, running, working 24/7 to be the chair of this panel of discussants. Okay. And Honorable Dr. Shina Abiola Peters is going to, Ampela is going to be next. And before he takes the seat, let's quickly introduce the second panelist this evening. And let's invite to take her seat Honorable Aisha Aminu. Please, let's give her a round of applause. Honorable Aisha Aminu. Aisha Aminu is a business manager with 15 years experience in sales, marketing, budgeting and planning, and human resource management. She worked in the ICT industry with Globacom Communications, Visaphone, and Cars 45 Limited, various locations including Kaduna, Lagos, and Abuja. Aisha also had a stint in public service with the Petroleum Product Marketing Company, PPMC, a subsidiary of NNPC in 2002. Aisha joined politics and aspired for the House of Representatives seat for the Malumfashi Kahor Federal Constituency in 2019. She has remained a vocal advocate for the inclusion of women and youth in the political process. Please, another hand for her, ladies and gentlemen. And to introduce, take his seat, is back, and we quickly introduce Honorable Dr. Shina Abiola Pella. He's a member of the Federal House of Representatives representing Isewaju, Kajola, and Iwajowa Federal Constituency of Oyo State. He's the Ayedero of Yoruba land, the Akirogun of Ekbe land, the Mayegun of Ibubi Sabe, and Are Bonoeyi of Isei Lori, born on May 14th, 1976. Very young. I'm older than him. All right. He's the founder of Aquila Group of Companies. Aquila. Okay, yes. A multi-billion naira conglomerate with international investments in real estate, hospitality, energy, finance services, entertainment, and international trade. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause. This is true that they are ready to fund themselves 101%. That like that, the top amish. And we introduce Alhaji Ibrahim Baba Inna. Please take your seat, ladies and gentlemen. He is a business consultant and a trainer with core competence in new business development and workplace learning. He has previously served with the Nigerian Navy and retired as a lieutenant commander from the Nigerian Navy with a 25-year service record. He's the founder and CEO of IBI Center. He's also the CEO of IBI Foundation, Ibrahim Baba Inna. That's IBI, a non-governmental organization. The aim of the foundation is to bring succor to the vulnerable, less privileged, and disabled in our society. He's also a passionate advocate of the 17 United Nations Sustainable Development Goals known as SDG. Please, another round of applause to him. And last but not the least is the highly focused and compassionate Ifeanyi Chukwu Anthony Christopher Ibezi. Ladies and gentlemen. He's a former member representing Idemili North and South Federal Constituency of the House of Representatives. He was born in Enugu in 1976. Please, don't smile. I'm smiling alone. Yes. All right, sir. He was born in Enugu, and to late Chief Francis Nwafor Ibezi, JP, and Mrs. Caroline Logoduku Ibezi of Izimuku Agbaja Abatete in Idemili North local government area of Anambra State, southeast of Nigeria. He attended the prestigious Institute of Management and Technology, Enugu, from where he obtained both ordinary and higher degree, and that's HND, and from the School of Business Studies, majoring in marketing, purchasing, and supply. He's the CEO of various business organizations in Nigeria. Please, let's give it up for our focused and compassionate Ifeanyi Chukwu Anthony Christopher Ibezi. And I'll quickly hand over the microphone to our moderator, Honorable Salihu Tankoyaka, say to take charge for the next 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes. Please put your hands together for him.
Thank you very much, Arbif and audience, for that lovely introduction to the members of our very powerful panel. As you can see, we carefully selected this panelist, and I'm sure we are going to do justice to this session. We have heard from the founding the convener of We Together movement, the journey so far. We have heard the direction that we are going from Dr. Anas when he presented the We Together roadmap. And I think the essence of this panel or session is to try and understand how are we going to get to this stage that we are, or to the destination that we are going to get to. So I would have want to start with the lady, as they always say, ladies first, but in the spirit of equality, permit me, Honorable, to start with Honorable Shina Pila. And I think the idea or the reason behind starting with you, Honorable, is to tell us how. How is this movement, going to bring about or implement this strategy that we've, well-thought strategy that we have put together? What are the modalities that we're going to use in order to bring about change by doing it ourselves? So that's the question for you first.
Like they say, change begins from you. We've been talking about change for at least about 2 decades now. And I'm sure in the country today, at every level, everybody wants to see a change. But the first thing I would say that we require to bring change is for us to understand that we cannot continue to fight the existing system in the name of change. What you do if you want a real change is to create a new system that will make the present system obsolete. And they start from the people. You must see yourself as the leader that you want to be. Because there's one thing that we don't pay attention to here when we talk about leadership. We must first of all understand that leadership is something that starts from you. There must be, you must have a level of self-leadership. If you don't know yourself, you cannot be able to lead yourself. And if you cannot lead yourself, you cannot lead others. God created Nigeria for a purpose. As you know, God created land before God created men. But the unfortunate thing is, because God didn't make a mistake when he was creating this land with so much resources, the oil that we have a lot of natural resources, we have waterways, and we have good people here. But all these things are not translating to results, basically because of two things: people and leadership. And they say there is no leadership where there's no vision. So it boils out to the people. So you must first of all understand yourself. That's what is self-leadership as a person. Because when God created land and God created men, those resources that God put there is meant to translate to results. But if you don't do some things as a person, because you have to deal with it, the first law on humanity is death. Everybody will come to an end. Whether you are the richest person in life, you will come to an end. Whether you are the most powerful person, there will be a day that God will call for your soul. Whether you are the most healthy person, you will come to an end. So when you want to come to an end, then you must now ask yourself, what is the purpose of life itself? The purpose of life is for two things, two purposes. The first purpose of life is to worship your Creator. And your Creator is God and is a destination, but there are different routes to destination. The Muslim have their own route to the destination. You pray your Fajr in the morning, Subuhi, Zuhr, Asri, Maghrib, and Isha. And the Christians too, you have some go to church on Wednesdays, you have some go to church on Sundays, and you have some go to church even on Saturdays. But the second purpose is to make impact. And this impact can be in two forms, either positive impact or negative impact. And you should not be a judge, because you have the judge of all judges. You know, and you should not be a judge. You have judge of all judges looking at you. So if anybody is doing something, so for your self-leadership as a person, you must be able to convert every form of negativity to positivity around you. Somebody can look at you and be like, you are crazy. Yeah, you can be able to return back to that person because of what he has done. But because you want the world to be peaceful, you can be like, may God bless you, or may God forgive you, or something. So if as a person we don't understand this first, I can assure you that we are going nowhere. So as a people, you must understand the importance of this self-leadership, because that is where it starts from. Then it goes to peace, because you cannot achieve anything without peace. Faith has been thick on the surface of the heart. Different prophets has come to preach faith, and today you see millions of churches and millions of mosques. So it means that we don't have problem of faith anymore on the surface of the heart, but we must understand peace. And peace starts from what you have and what I have. You can't start to preach peace that you need money or you need power. What you need to understand peace is your emotion. is for you to understand that peace begins from dealing with the next person to you. Don't do unto others what you cannot take. Don't say unto others what you cannot take. That will make you to be accountable as a leader. And before you think about the next president of Nigeria, you must first of all ask yourself, are you the kind of president within the comfort of your own area? And our generation will come to an end, as you know. Death will come, and every generation will come to an end. But the first obligation of every generation is to be a bridge of hope for the generation coming behind. And what made me to join We Together is because I see that these are like minds that understand that we have to go back and build from bottom up. You know, Nigeria is suffering from foundational defect. There is no one man that can resolve the issue from the surface. So the moment that we stay together and we are able to go against any form of divide, which is maybe the political ideology or your religion or your ethnicity, and we begin to put competence and we begin to put leadership, good leadership, ahead from bottom up, I'm sure we'll be able to get it right. It starts from there. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for that precise and concise contribution. And I think one of the things that I take away from what you have said so far is, first of all, we need to change our mindset. We need to understand where we are and where we are going, and probably that will be the driving force that will get us there. So, Honorable Aisha Aminu, if I can come back to you now. Ladies second. So, from what Honorable has said, if I may connect it to you, and I like the fact that you have experience in the private sector, you have experience in women development, you have experience politically. So, and particularly the fact that women play a significant, critical role in development. So why is it that up to now, we are not giving more opportunities for women? Why is it that we are not taking them or giving them bigger responsibilities to handle, to manage, you know? And how can we engage them in development in general? Thank you.
Hello, can you hear me? Okay, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Can you hear me? Okay, thank you very much. It's an honor to be a member of We Together and to sit before you. I think it's pretty simple. You've wondered why women have not been involved as much as we should be. I think among some of the issues, I would name patriarchy as the first, which is basically men elongating their dominance out of probably ego. Beyond that, there's no other reason why women haven't had their spaces or taken their seats both in elective positions and appointed positions. For example, now, Nigeria, we're at an appalling pace. As the giant of Africa, if I reel out the statistics for you, we're at 6.7%, when the global average is 23.5. Even Africa, we call ourselves the giant of Africa, but the African average is actually 23.5. Even in the West African sub-region, it is 15%. So the issue, I think, has to do with the Nigerian men giving the women their opportunity to take their places on those decision-making seats. And I would quote the late former Secretary General of the United Nations, late Kofi Annan of blessed memory. I quote, he says, study after study has shown us that there's no tool more effective in empowerment and development than women empowerment. Because there's actually no policy as likely to succeed in economic empowerment, reduction in child and maternal mortality, nutrition and health care, and ensuring education for the next generation. One of my favorite speakers, even though all the other speakers that spoke excellently, was Muna. Muna kept talking about the family system, and he took it down to the level of the mother. And that's something I contested in the Northwest. I face these realities, so they're not new. Like he actually highlighted, the challenges in the Northeast, Northwest, or Southwest, or South, when you come down to the grassroots, are almost basically the same. So women, as former Secretary General of the United States, Madeleine Albright, added also, were an untapped resources and are underrepresentation in politics, that is, given elective positions and appointive positions, keeps undermining overall societal development. Because if you're looking at part of the We Together principles, to go back down to the family level, to ensure that we get that change from the bottom by bringing it back onto us as mothers. You have always known that mothers are the childbearers. They're the nurturers of the society. So we hold the key to development. So why exclude us? So for as long as women have been undermined and are not given their rightful places, on election day, no man has won election without the contribution of women. I say one thing, as a woman, go back to my polling unit. It's open, the figures are there. I won 97% because I was a woman that stood there and mobilized women in my unit. And more than 50%, almost 50% of the Nigerian population were women. Current statistics give us 49.7. So if we're at 49.7, the men are at 50.3, why can't we have a conscious, intentional policy where men and women are given equal opportunities and rights? Because that's the international standard. And Nigeria as a country signs all those international accords and protocols. So our engagement and our absence, I think, has to do with lack of intentional and conscious effort to ensure we are there. There's the issue of patriarchy, where I mentioned first, that men just choose not to have us there. I've had men look at me and say, why are you there? There's a woman here, I respect her because I see her with her baby, but she finds this program important enough to come along with a child. So for as long as we women are being excluded, that change will not happen. On the election day, we talked about reducing thuggery and violence. Who are the mothers of these thugs? Who are the wives of these thugs? Who are the girlfriends of these thugs? Who are the sisters of these thugs? We are women. If you look at one of the longest conflicts on earth, the Israel-Palestinian crisis, time after time, when the politicians, the men, are unable to reach a peaceful decision, they have to go behind the scenes and get those women to talk to the boys, to the men, for peace to reign. So I think our major issue, beyond lack of finance, limited education, stigmatization, religious and cultural barriers, I think has to do with patriarchy from the men for a low involvement in politics. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. And I think the We Together movement is equally guilty of this. Absolutely. If you look at the speakers, if you look at the panelists, I think we only have 2 men. And I think that is what we need to rectify at our next event. So we together, let's start from ourselves. To take it to the far end of the panel, if I can go to my brother, Honorable Ifeanyi Ibezi, you have been in the system. That is the system that Muna, my brother Muna, talked about the failure of the system. You have been in the system, and one thing that always worries me personally is how a lot of young people are given opportunity to be in the system, and very few of them stand out. So how can we make the system, how can we make young people go into the system? Because it's not just about bringing in young inclusiveness for the young people in governance and whatever it is, but how can we make them effective? How can they make the system effective? So that's my question to you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. First and foremost, I see it as a privilege to be here today. I'm coming from the side of eastern Nigeria, from Anambra State. Going by your question, I think I'm a victim of what you just said. Because in 2007, I contested for the House of Assembly seat in Anambra State to represent Idemili North State constituency. And when I came out, at a very tender age, it was a battle for me because the elites find it very difficult to believe that a young man at my age then can aspire to serve the people at the state level. I fought it, and they fought me back, and I couldn't make it. In 2011, as a young man, at a very early age, I ran for House of Representatives to represent Idemili North and South at the House of Reps. The same elites fought and stopped me. I persisted because I believe that leadership is all about service to humanity, service to the people. And if that is it, it must be a selfless one. In 2015, I came back again. I ran for the House of Representatives to serve the same good people of Idemili North and South Federal Constituency. I won. In all these elections, I won. And the elites also stopped me. I believe in leadership and I believe in serving the people. In 2019, I came back again. I contested for the same position. I ran and I won. And I went to the House of Representatives. I spent less than 5, give and take, less than 6 months. And when I get to the 9th Assembly, my brother Shinopela is here. The first motion that kickstarted the 9th Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was moved by my humble self. That was a motion to reactivate all the moribund ports in Nigeria to make them function again. But the elites also fought back. And I was asked to leave the House of Representatives. Now, if you check from 2007 2019, I persisted the people. And the problem of this country is not with the youth. The problem of Nigeria is who fails or the if the youth can serve, bring out your God-given talent to serve the country. Now, if it is not the problem of the youth, but the problem of the elites, we have a platform today. A platform, and it is a movement that is going to bring all Nigerians together to fight this cankerworm. As far as I'm concerned, it's a cankerworm. The youths must be given an atmosphere to come out and contest and serve the country. The only way to do that is through We Together movement. And that is why in the southeastern states of this country, immediately I got myself involved in this movement. I went down to my state and started mobilizing all the youths. We need to come together. We need to build this country. I also get across to all other states in the whole Southeast to get the youth involved. The only way to fight this cankerworm and the only way to provide an atmosphere where the youth can get actively involved in rebuilding Nigeria, in setting this country to the trajectory of development in terms of infrastructural development, in terms of economic development, is through youth involvement using We Together movement. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable, for that. Another round of applause for them, please. Now, Honorable Ifeanyi, you've made mention how the elite are fighting the younger generation, more or less. But looking at the numbers, you know, if more than, according to the presentation or the keynote speech by Brother Muna, if about 65 to 70% of the population, 200 million Nigerians, 70% of the population are people that we can consider young people between the ages of 40 and below, then I'm coming to you, Honorable Shinapila. Then if we have the numbers, if the elites are using the younger generation, you know, to get elected or to get themselves in governance and so on and so forth, then why is it that the younger people are not taking charge, are not coordinating themselves? You know, how can we change that to bring them all together so that we can take over from them, if I can put it that way?
If you're a young person and you look forward to, you know, the leaders, one thing that is very important is for you to be a conscious follower. For me, I have a lot of young men that are spread across Nigeria that I've been training with the Lead Generation Initiative. And one thing that I allow them to do is that I give them opportunity because we are in democracy. Something that is synonymous about democracy is for you to be able to speak. When I was talking the other time, I told you the worst thing in life is death. It is inevitable. So they say every conscious follower is a potential leader. So as a young person, you will look at the opportunity. You must be able to identify opportunity and differentiate between an opportunity and entitlement. When you identify opportunity and you step up to take that opportunity, and the only way you step up to take that opportunity is through getting prepared. They say when opportunity meets preparedness comes success. As we are today, whether we like it or not, we have the year 2023. As a person, I have seen 2023 as an opportunity for us to rebuild this country. And when I say that, what makes me to be able to that will make me to convert opportunity to success is for me to identify like minds, is for me to make sure that these like minds, we have a plan. And when you have a plan, you back it up with actions. It is not just about keeping quiet. We tell people today, as young people, a lot of people will sit on social media, and yet they don't have their PVCs. And you have an opportunity. You must identify yourself to see that this PVC is the tool that you need, you know, to get yourself the kind of leader that you want. But again, you must understand that your PVC is as useless as using that PVC to decide between two incompetent people. Because if you don't join a movement like We Together, that is not going to put religion to select who their leader is, that's not going to use ethnicity to identify who their leaders will be, that will not use political ideology to identify who their leaders is, then you should be able to get yourself prepared. Make sure you get your PVCs and make sure that you get on that network of We Together, because we are in a country where we are not practicing independent candidacy. So when you join the movement of We Together, then your voice will definitely be heard, because you are not the only one speaking. You are speaking on the platform that has many voices, and you are speaking for a common goal, definitely with shared responsibility. So this way, I can assure you that whatever you want to be, you will get there. There's no leader that can take you anywhere. Where God does not want you to be, you cannot be there. Yes. So even if you are there, you will lose it one way or the other. You understand? But when you do the right thing and you let things play out the way that it should be, then you'll be able to achieve your aim. That's it.
Thank you very much. I wanted to connect Honorable Ifeanyi's remarks with yours, and that is why I jumped my Oga, Male Ibrahim Babain now. And I'm coming back to you because the previous speakers mostly talked about governance, politics, and what have you. But someone coming from the private sector, particularly someone who has done remarkably well as an entrepreneur, with also experience in NGO, it's like the president said, it's not everyone that will get into government, like will get a job, with the government. So that means the private sector also has a key role to play in our development. So what do you have to say about, young people, being their own bosses, from your own personal experience? What do you have to say so that we can encourage our people, not just always be looking at the government, going for elective positions or appointments, but how can they stand on their own? That's my question to you.
Thank you very much. And I'm truly glad and I appreciate being here for these movements. Really, when I heard about it, it's been sparks in my head. I've been looking for a platform, and this is the platform. So thank you very much. First, you must be a follower before you become a leader. You have to follow. You have to see someone. Back to it, mentoring. How are we mentoring people around? Who are we looking up to? Who are our heroes? I was discussing this with someone here earlier on. Who are our heroes? Who do we look up to? The United States, there are heroes everywhere. We read about them. They are written in books. We talk about them. If you go to our schools, you see pictures of different people. Abraham Lincoln, JFK.
And now, this is so far we can go in the live coverage of the launch of We Together Advocacy Group from the ancient city of Kano. On behalf of all
my kids see someone different. I'm speaking to them. When they cross the line, I bring them back. I talk to them deliberately. Because if we read these history books, the Caesars, what did they do? They were mentored. They were pushed far away to go and learn governance, to learn how to lead men. So you have to first be a follower before you become a leader. Because you have to know what it means to be a follower, so that when you become a leader, you can be able to lead people. I'll give an example. I have the IBI Foundation. I was in the military for 25 years, and all I think about is Nigeria, because I grew up in the barrack. My dad was in the military, so I went to a barrack, military command school. My secondary school, Nigerian Military School, Nigeria. My university, prestigious Nigerian Defense Academy, Nigeria. And I was commissioned in naval officer, Nigerian Navy, Nigeria. So that's why you can see that my picture there, God bless Nigeria. All I think about every day is Nigeria. My videos I make is about Nigeria. There is no other country. You can't talk to me about any other country but the green, white, green. Even my cufflinks, if you can see it, is green, white, green. So I'm living Nigeria, and these are the things I'm teaching my kids about the country, the good about Nigeria. Yes, there are some bad sides about Nigeria, just like every other thing in this world. There's the good and the bad side. But what do we do about that good side? How do we tell our stories? We don't tell our stories good enough over here. We don't know. Back to that hero. Who are our heroes? We need to get heroes that we can look up to. Because once you see a hero, I want to be like him. Who do we look up to? Really think about it. I don't want to call names of politicians or stuff because we hear things right now. But who do you want your children to look up to? And that's why it becomes, or it behoves on you to be that hero. Now, back to your question about the private sector. After I left the military, I don't have any experience in business. All I had with me were those things imbibed in me: discipline, integrity, reputation, knowledge, skills. Those things that were built in me, inbuilt, that no matter what kind of business you are in, if you don't have integrity, you will never work out. It will never work well. If you don't have a work ethic, it will never work well. If you don't have discipline, it won't work. No matter any career you are in, you have to instill those ethics in you. And that's why it's all about the skills, knowledge, and especially attitude. No matter the business you start there, if you don't have these things in you, it can never work out. I left the military. I started the IBI Center, Human Capacity Development, mentoring, inspiring. But apart from that, I needed to go beyond that. And I started the foundation. Now, the power of social media has been crazy. I will not lie to you. What we have here and our strength is social media. I started an NGO, and no matter what we look at or see Corona, I'm telling you, it was like a blessing to my NGO. Because I went online, and I now started partnering and collaborating with other NGOs in the 36 states of the Federation. I don't know them. They don't know me. All I need to see is your profile online, and I tell you this is what I want to do in Lagos. Right now, I have NGOs that I work with in Lagos, every part of the country. We had an initiative, Feed 1,000 initiative, 2 years ago. And I said we needed to feed 1,000 people per state. And guess what? We were able to feed about 30,000 Nigerians. I didn't have the money. I didn't know any of those NGOs in the other states. All I needed was social media. I saw their profile, and I linked up with them. This is what we should do. We pushed it out there. People contributed money, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And that's when I found out that all our problems are the same. Every part of this country, there are people that are hungry, that need food. There are girls that cannot go to school. There are girls that cannot afford menstrual health talk, pads. There are boys that don't go to school. There are girls that need literacy skills. I'm telling you, the problems, as someone mentioned earlier on, every part of the country is the same. I'm telling you, we are all facing the same issues. And we all keep on talking about the same things. 3 people sitting down, have you noticed? The first thing we talk about is Nigeria. The second thing is insecurity, unemployment. Is this how we will continue? I'm telling you, everywhere, everybody's talking about the same thing. Even the Federal Executive Council, the president has meetings with the Security Council almost every week about what? Insecurity. So from there to the last person, we are all talking about the same things. For the youths, as said, just start the business. It's just like you jumping out of the aircraft without a parachute. Before you reach the ground, you build the parachute. It's not easy. It's discouraging. It's disappointing. You want to give up, but just like every other business out there, you just have to continue for a long time. Sorry, I know you want to cut me off. We talk about the United States. The United States, it's not that they don't have problems or issues, but they provide more solutions daily. Facebook, Instagram, Metaverse, Elon Musk going to space, Amazon, all these things are employing more Americans and people outside the country. In Nigeria, we create more problems, but less solutions. I'm telling you, we have more problems. We need more solutions. We need the private sector to start employing more people. But at the same time, The government has to come back to this to give us an enabling environment. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I'm sure we've taken a lot from what he has said, and I will want to make it a bit interactive, so I will give the opportunity for the audience to ask a few questions, maybe 3 or 4, due to time constraint. We'll try and round it up. So before we get to the questions, just get yourself ready. Just give me a minute to come back to Honorable Aisha Aminu. I just have one question as a mother, and from all that have been said, one thing that I realize is that the decay in the society usually starts from home. It is due to bad upbringing of our children, due to so many issues in the house, which translate or which spills out into the society. So as a mother, as a woman, I want your take. I want to pick your brain on how can we make our homes better? How can we improve on the family system from the house before you even start talking about improving the society? Thank you.
Thank you very, very much for that wonderful question. To be candid with you, the answer is simple. Like the last speaker said, for the private sector to thrive fully, we need the government to provide the basic infrastructure, the enabling ground or environment. And the same thing goes for the family. Societies have become very complex now. They say the world is a global village. If you look at other countries, the countries we look up to, the more developed nations, their family laws that have been enacted, and the family is being protected. A simple example, I would use our regional environment. We're here in Kano, in the Northwest. You're a very deep grassrooted politician here. I'm also in the Northwest. We have a simple problem where a man marries multiple wives. He has a lot of kids. And that same man, in the evening or in the mornings, will wake up, leave his house, go to the Meshai, drink his hot piping cup of tea with Milo milk, fried egg, and Indomie, and a whole loaf of bread alone. Meanwhile, he has left a wife and kids at home. He probably gave her some rice or beans or grains. Sometimes these women are given just the raw food stuff without even giving money to, convert the raw food stuff into food that is palatable to her and her kids. So now, such a woman, when she complains, what is she told? That's where the issue of religion and cultural barriers come into play. When we use religion as a card, there's no religion, neither the Quran nor the Bible, the two main religions in the country, allow that to happen. And when you talk about culture, our great-grandfathers, our grandfathers, I have a traditional title. My title is called the Mother of the House in Nauru. And it's a title that signifies the role of the woman in the family. And that woman was given a lot of significance and relevance by the men in the past generation. So the grandfathers and great-grandfathers in the olden times held on to strong cultural values and morals, and even the religious values that tell us to take care of our families. But I think the young men or the modern men have abandoned those values. And when it comes to responsibility in the family, it starts with the man. And we know the old English saying that says the fish rots from the head. So when the man does not take responsibility of his home, he cannot throw responsibility to the woman alone. We face it alone. You're all modern fathers. How many of you go for PTAs? I mean, but apart from you, how many? There are lots of men out here that don't even know what their kids are doing at school. So a lot of transfer of responsibility and duties has been shifted to the woman. And now this woman has not even been educated enough. So I think, one, the mindset shift has to start from the men as head of the family. And then the government has a critical role to play. I think there should be better laws at protecting women and the family. So I think the issue is still back to you. So you would help us handle it. Thank you.
So that's what so far we can bring to you live from Kano, where we've witnessed the launch of the We Together in Advocacy Group. On behalf of all members of the Outside Broadcast crew, from here, I'm Abdullah Mustafa, thanking you for being with us.
Information is power.